This is a country of the people, a nation of equal opportunity, where the people are represented in the government in one way or another. But how? How do your own views directly affect America? And how do you directly affect our government? And why is Arizona going to play such a big role in the upcoming future? And why could it be a deciding factor?
As many may already know, the United States government is separated into three branches: the executive, judicial, and legislative, with the legislative being separated into two houses, the Senate and House of Representatives. A representative in the House of Representatives is tasked with representing the views present in his or her own state district, while a senator's job is to represent the general views present in the entirety of his or her own state. Each state has 2 senators, with there being a total of 100 senators in the entirety of the United States. In 2018, 33 of those 100 seats will go up for re-election.
Arizona's 5th Congressional District contains Gilbert, Chandler, Queen Creek, and our own East Mesa. The 5th District has mostly voted Republican, and it is currently represented by Republican Andy Briggs, although it is about to open for re-election. A district representative is tasked with representing their district's views in the Congressional House of Representatives. They are the ones that represent you on a national level and in supreme decisions within Congress. In the 2018 primaries, due to Andy Briggs being an incumbent, the Republican Party does not have a candidate as of February 12th running in their primary, while the Democratic Party has 3 candidates running, including Lisa Campbell, Jonah Green, and Scott Menner.
Since Andy Biggs is the incumbent and he's running again, he's technically the Republican candidate. Yeah, sorry about that.
When you register to vote within state, you can either register as a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent. Before a candidate becomes a candidate, they must be elected for their party. This means a Democrat and all other Democrats participate in an election where one is chosen to represent the Democrats in the actual election. In this election, called a primary election, a registered Republican can only vote for Republican candidates, a Democrat can only vote for registered Democrats, and an independent may vote for either. This is called a semi-closed voting system, as it is closed between parties but slightly open to independents, and it's how voting in Arizona works.
As mentioned before, in 2018, on November 6th, 33 Senate seats will go up for re-election. Usually, when an incumbent runs for re-election, they have a large publicity advantage and likely a demographic that will vote for them again, meaning that they'd most likely get their seat back. However, Arizona's Senate seat that is going up for re-election, held by Republican Jeff Flake, has announced that he will not be running for re-election in 2018.
Some big Republican candidates going up for the seat are previous Sheriff Joe Arpaio, known for his rehabilitation programs and Tent City Project; Martha McSally, strong advocate for the military, former teacher and former fighter pilot; and Dr. Kelly Ward, advocate for border security, affordable health care, and clarity in the United States government. A major Democratic candidate is Kyrsten Sinema, an advocate for same-sex marriage, the DREAM Act, and former representative of Arizona's 9th District. The primary election for these candidates will be held on August 28th from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m.
For all the seniors, and maybe even juniors eligible to vote this November. It's important to note that the general election, where you vote for a candidate of your choosing for a seat, isn't the only election that matters. The election that comes before, the primary election, which takes place August 28th, matters as well. Many of you already know, not every Democrat is the same, and neither is every Republican. A candidate could be a Republican, yet not represent your views. That's why it's important to elect whichever candidate you feel represents you in the primary, so that they may continue to represent you in the general election. Your votes in the primary may hold more sway than you think, as only half as much people typically vote in the primary compared to the general election. Who will you vote for? Will you vote to keep the Republican Senate seat and keep our national Republican legislation? Or will you vote Democrat and provide one of the 3 precious Senate seats required to switch our legislation? It all comes down to the views of our state's people. It all comes down to you.